Hi guys, and welcome to the Start Your Own ECU Tuning Business webinar. In the next hour we'll be teaching you guys how to set up your own tuning business. I'm Ace and this is Matt. He's become our head software engineer.
3, 2, 1, go!
Today's webinar is mainly focused on automotive workshops who want to add additional services to their workshops, or individuals who is well connected in the racing community and want to earn extra income. Now, as I've mentioned before, the goal of today's webinar is to just show everyone how to set up their own ECU tuning business, and we will try and do that in under an hour today. Now, Tune to Race started in 2010, and since then I've been overseeing our marketing team and our customer relations. And Matt, who's next to me, has become our head software engineer.
So I come from the automotive electronic background, and I've started specializing in the calibration side since 2008.
So since then we've grown to about 80 workshops across the world, and we're currently tuning on average about 15 vehicles per day. Within the next hour we guarantee you that we'll provide you with all the information that you require to set up your own ECU tuning business. Matt will be on the chats. If you guys feel free, say hi in the chats, type a few questions, and Matt will be able to respond to you. On today's agenda, we'll look at the different types of chip tuning tool, which will be mainly focused on Alien Tech and CMD, just because that's the two main tools we'll use, and we'll discuss that in a little bit more detail a bit later on. We'll look at the services you can add to your workshop, which Matt will mainly help you with. So that's basically your performance tuning, your EGR delete, DPF removals, speed limiters, all those sort of things. We'll run you through the risks associated with chip tuning and how to avoid them. So that's where Matt comes in. He'll be showing you how to open up the ECUs and how to program the cars correctly. And then we'll also train you how to use the chip tuning tools, and we'll share a little bit about our brand and what we represent. The first thing on today's agenda that I would like to discuss with you is the different types of chip tuning tools that we have and that we work with. So we mainly work with Alien Tech and CMD. Now the main reason for this is because they are the two world leaders in the chip tuning market. This is mainly due to the fact that on the support that they offer and the wide variety of vehicles that they are able to tune. Now there are smaller tuning tool companies in the world, but they don't have a sufficient number of followers, and so on their tool development they're normally a bit slow. With the Alien Tech and CMD range, depending on which combination you buy, but you can almost tune over 6,000 vehicles with the combination of the tools. And they offer excellent services when a vehicle's ECU gets damaged. Now what happens is, sometimes in the reading process the files gets corrupted, and if you don't have a proper support, then they can't help you fix the ECUs. So on the Alien Tech side, which is for the one company, is we have the case and the K-tag. Now your case looks like this. This is your OBD tuning tool, and your CMD looks like this. So these two are basically your competitors in the chip tuning industry. It's your Alien Tech and your CMD. You can ask Matt which vehicles you want to tune, and he'll be able to advise you to either use the Alien Tech's products or the CMD products. Now, I've emailed you guys a vehicle list leading up to the webinar, and we'll quickly run through that a bit later to just show you how the vehicle list looks and how to read, just to show you, to make sure that you understand the vehicle list. Now, the main difference between the case products and the CMD products is the Alien Tech product comes with two types of tools. It's your OBD tuning tool and your BDM tuning. Your OBD tuning tool, and for ECU removals we use the K-tag, which comes in a box like this. So this is your K-tag tuning tool. So with the combination of these two tools you can do about 6,000 vehicles. Now I've emailed you guys the price list for the tools that I'll also just show you on a computer shortly, and then another option is, of course, is your CMD tool. Okay, so this is basically the options that you have. Now the first thing that I'd like to explain to you guys is the difference between the master versions and the slave versions. Now we mostly sell slave versions. Now slave versions are perfect for companies who want to just add services to their workshop. So we will basically supply you the files if you purchase a slave unit. If you want to purchase a master unit, it allows you to create your own files, but the problem with this is the training that's involved. So for master version, there's a lot of training that you need to undergo before you are able to provide the services, which can take years. Which on the slave side, it's very easy to set up your tuning shop. We can have you up and running within 2 weeks from receiving your order to sending you the tools. You can have your workshop tuning cars within the next 2 weeks. So C&D works on a similar concept. They also have a master and a slave unit. I don't have the slave unit here, I only have the master unit here. And depending on which protocols you add to this one, you'll be able to do also a different set of vehicles. Now, the main thing that influences the price of chip tuning tools is the type of protocols that you decide to add in the end. Now, the Alien-Tech range comes standard with the protocols for cars and bikes. So that means once you purchase the tools, you can do cars and bikes. So the Alien-Tech range comes with everything you require to do the cars, but the bike cables is a purchase that you have to make separately. Now if you want to move into truck tuning and agricultural vehicles and boats, for instance, then you have to add additional protocols to your list, which you'll be able to see on the Alien-Tech price list shortly. The two main factors that you must consider when purchasing a chip tuning tool is either the type of protocols that you'll be adding to the tool and whether you purchase a master or a slave unit. Now I'll quickly show you on the laptop how the Alien-Tech price list looks. I'm not going to go into detail on the C&D tool because we don't use it as often. If you want, you can just email us and we'll be able to provide you with all the information on the C&D tool. But for today, I'll mainly be focusing on the Alien-Tech range. So just to show you guys which vehicles you'll be able to tune with the case, you can go onto the vehicle list. You'll see the different types of categories, the brand, the models, the type, the engine codes, the stock kilowatt, the HP, the fuel, and the model. And then here you'll see case protocol. Now, if something's written in the case protocol, it means that car can be done with the case tool. If something's written in the case and the KTAG protocol, it means you can either use the case or the KTAG to do the vehicle. But the case one is obviously an easier tool to use because it's done via the OBD port. In a bit later, we'll show you guys the difference between OBD tuning and the KTAG. So we'll actually show you guys just how both of them works. Now, the next thing that I want to just discuss with you guys is I just want to explain the protocols to you. So if you decide to add boats, tractors and trucks to your chip tuning, there's obviously an additional cost that you have to carry to be able to do those cars. Now on the Alien-Tech price list that I've also emailed you guys, you can just scroll down to page 5 to find this. Now, as I've mentioned, it's either if you purchase a master or a slave unit. So master units are units used by, for instance, companies such as ourselves that allows us to create the files ourselves, and then we supply the files to our slave units. Now, as you've heard, Matt basically started this in 2008. Since then, he's been working on developing files and learning how to do it. So that's basically a full-time job, and it takes really long. It will take really long to have that set up, and it's mainly because of the training that's required to do it. So not a lot of guys in the industry are actually willing to share that information with new tuners, just because it's an art that they teach themselves. So if you're looking to set up that, you can talk to us, but we mainly focus on supplying our guys with the slave units. So the slave units, you'll have your business up and running in 2 weeks. So once you order the tools from us, Alien-Tech normally ships out on the Thursday, and then by the Tuesday or Wednesday we'll have it, and then we'll ship it to you. So from when you pay us till when the tools arrive to you is about 2 weeks. Then you'll able to start tuning. Now with the case unit, there's nothing that you really need to know. we'll be able to offer all the support, and we'll show you how easy it is to do it just now. With the K-Tag version, it's a little bit more complicated. You have to be able to solder in order to tune the cars, but we'll ask Matt to show you a little bit of detail later on in the webinar. So just here's the price list. So that's why the master units, you'll see, in addition to it being a lot more difficult to get set up, the tools are also a lot more expensive. So the tools are made out of two prices. You actually pay for your tool, and then you pay a separate fee for the type of protocols that you decide to add to your tool. Now the first, as I mentioned, the standard protocol that the tools come with is car and OBD, car and bike, OBD protocols. So as you will see, the master unit is 1,500 euros and 2,900 euros in addition to add the protocols to it. Whereas the slave unit is 900 euros, and there's to add your car and bike protocols is 1,100 euros. Now on the price list, you'll see it says includes 12-month subscriptions. Now your subscription is basically for the tool companies to develop new protocols, which is another thing that you don't get with when purchasing a slave unit. So Alien Tech, basically, as new vehicles come out, they develop new protocols and be able to tune those vehicles. So your most basic one is your case OBD tuning setup, which is 2,000 euros. Now for the guys watching tonight, we'll offer you a 20% discount on that tool, as I mentioned before, which should reduce the price quite significantly. We'll offer you guys the ability to purchase the tools a little bit later on, and we'll also include free shipping for you guys, just to sweeten the deal a little bit more. So in order to receive these new updates of the vehicles, you see it says slave 12-month subscription is 600 euros. So basically once a year you have to pay Alien Tech 600 euros to ensure that you receive the latest updates for these vehicles. Now if you don't end up, that's basically your running cost of your entire tuning business. So if you work it out, it's about 50 euros per month. And that's just to ensure that you receive the latest updates, and that's the only running cost that you'll have for your tuning business, which is quite low. So other than the case, you also have the K-Tag. So I just want to scroll down. You'll see if you decide to add other protocols such as trucks or agricultural vehicles, you'll see you can purchase the cable. You have to purchase the cables for those additionally. So here's all you can scroll through till page about 15 is the different types of cables that you can add to your case if you want to add truck tuning or agricultural tuning, and you can just email me and I'll be able to assist you with the price for those units, and then we'll also offer you some discount on those units. Now your second tool is the K-Tag, which is this one here. This is for when you have to remove the ECU out of the car. The price of the K-Tag is quite a bit less. You'll see the master price is 1,000 euros plus 2,700 euros plus the 550 euros. That doesn't include your shipping and your import cost. On the other hand, if you decide to purchase the K-Tag slave unit from us, then it's 500 euros plus your 900 euros plus 350 euros. In order for us to help you guys out a little bit, we'll offer free shipping on this one. We'll also cover the import tax on this one. So that will be 1,750 euros for your complete setup, and then 1,700 euros for your case. It just depends on which vehicles you wish to tune. Now most tuners start off with just the case unit because they are so expensive, and then they move on and they purchase the K-Tag unit afterwards. But it's really up to you. You can ask Matt some questions in the chat, and then he'll be able to say to you guys, no, I think you need the case, I think you need the K-Tag, or I think you need the CMD. And then you also have the vehicle list to go through in your own time and just see which tool will serve your needs the best. So the second thing on today's agenda is the services that you'll be able to add to your workshop after you've purchased either our case tuning tool or the KTAG tuning tool or your C&D tuning tools. Our turnaround time on supplying you guys with files since we received the request is between 15 minutes and an hour. And then we work from 7 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon on GMT +1 time. Now the first service that I would like to discuss to you is performance chip tuning. So on our performance chip tuning side, we offer stage 1, 2 and 3 performance chip tuning. Now we offer two different types of chip tuning files for stage 1 and 2. Our stage 1 and 2 files start at €100. So we have two options. We have the normal file, which is €100, and then we have the racing files, which is €150. These recommended retail prices for these services, you can do some research in your own time, but you'll see they are normally about €300 to €400 per tune. So that means you're sitting with a profit margin of between €200 and €300 per car that you do. So if you take that into consideration, the price you end up paying for the case, you'll see that you'll be able to pay this tool back by tuning about 7 vehicles. Even less, so 5 to 7 vehicles, just depending on which market you operate in. But you have to do a little bit of research in your own time and see what your local tuners are charging per car. And then we also have the race files. Now our €150 race files are very powerful. I'll send you some of our dyno sheets after the webinar. I'll send you some of our dyno sheets, and then you can just have a look at the power we're making on those cars. And then we also have the stage 3 chip tuning, which is for bigger turbos. Now your bigger turbo files varies. It starts from €150 and it can go all the way up to 300, even 400 euros. It just depends on the type of modifications that's on the vehicle that we have to program for. The second service that you'll also be able to offer is DSG tuning. On DSG tuning files, we charge €100 per file. You also have to see what the local tuners charge for you. The only thing about the DSG tuning is on the case side, you have to purchase the cables additionally for the DSG tuning. I must check the price list, but it's about €300 in order to offer DSG tuning. The only problem with the case unit is it's not for the newer vehicles. Your new Golf 7s, the case won't be able to do. C&D is a little bit better with the DSG tuning, so I recommend if you really want to offer that service, then the C&D might be a better option, but we can discuss it. You can ask Matt some questions now, or you can just send me an email after the webinar, and then we can discuss that in a little bit more detail. The third service that we offer is DPF removal, EGR removal and speed limiter removals. For those files we charge €50, but in your stage 1, 2 and 3 performance tuning files, those are all free, so you don't have to pay additionally for that. You only pay additionally for that if you want it separately without a tuning file. If you decide to add the truck and agricultural vehicles to your tuning list, in addition to the extra cables that you have to purchase and your additional protocols that you'll have to add, the files for these cars are a little bit more expensive for your agricultural vehicles and your trucks. So our files start on those, we start at about €200 per file, but the only nice thing about these are the profit margins are really, really big. So normally on trucks we save between 5 to 15% fuel on these vehicles. So you can just imagine what you can charge your clients for these types of cars. Before we show you guys how to tune the cars via the OBD port and on the bench, I just want to quickly run you guys through the risks associated with chip tuning and how you can avoid them. Now, one of the biggest risks that you guys have when tuning a car is damaging an ECU. As I've mentioned before, there are a lot of fake tools on the market. These tools are normally about 100 to 200 euros. You can buy them on eBay. I can even send you guys a link where you can buy them. But as I've mentioned, the problem with these tools are that they don't have the support that Alien Tech has. The risk you're running with buying these tools is not having the support. Now, you can only imagine how difficult it is to tell a client that you stuffed up his ECU and he's going to sit without a car for 2 weeks. So With the fake tools, it's not a question of if it's going to happen, it's a question of when it's going to happen. You will damage your ECU with those tools. So we strongly recommend buying the original KES and KTAG tools. You can go onto the Alien Tech website. We are registered to trade their tools. A second thing that you must also take in consideration when starting a chip tuning business is damaging vehicles' turbos and engines. When you buy a master, there's obviously that risk is a lot bigger. If you don't understand how a vehicle works, if you don't understand how the performance parts work that gets added to the vehicle, you can end up damaging the vehicle's turbos, you can end up damaging the vehicle's engines, you know, because you might overboost it, you might overfuel it, you might underfuel it, you know. So depending on what, you might get the air-fuel ratios wrong. So just depending on that, you might end up damaging the vehicle's ECUs. That's where Matt comes in, and he's really good. So he's had over 8 to 10 years experience in the tuning industry. So we try and supply you guys with the safest files possible, but also then if you have racing clients that want to go all out, we can obviously increase the performance to serve those clients' needs as well. So basically that's your two biggest risks associated with chip tuning tools. If you purchase proper tools and you join a proper tuning company, you should not run into those problems. So just take that into consideration when signing up when starting your tuning business. Okay, so after you guys have removed the ECU out of the car and you want to program a car either with the KTAG or with the CMD, you first have to open up the ECU to get started. So that's also a major risk in chip tuning, is guys opening up computers wrong. So I've asked Matt to come and show you guys what's the correct process to open up the ECU, and if you do it this way, you'll save yourself a lot of money in the end. You don't want to slip and take off parts of the board. So Matt, feel free, if you guys have any questions, just type it in the chat and I'll also be able to respond to you.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to open up a BMW computer. It's a diesel. This is an EC17 and it's sealed around the edges, and a big seal section here. So first, I use the electronic screwdriver just to make things faster. I always try and go in from this side here. You've got the most area to go in without damaging anything. So you put your screwdriver in and start lifting. Try and take your time. And always push up, not in, because if you slip you'll damage the board. Here I use the circlips just to pick it up. And again this side here. And you can just basically peel the open like that. When you have hardly any damage to the lid, you can just bend it straight and it looks like no one's tampered with it. And this is the corner that I go into. So if you do slip, you end up eating the plastic rim here and not taking off the components if you're going anywhere else. We'll be using the CMD boot mode on this computer because it has a tri-core computer, and this is a TC197 processor. So in the CMD you'll go to select your car, BMW, or boot tri-core, BMW, and it's an EC17 TC1797. The KTAG and the CMD work in the same way with the manuals, where they show you where to solder on the reset and your boot pins with photos to show you everything. So I'll just quickly solder on the reset and the boot wires. Just make sure you're soldering onto the correct pads, not to cause any damage. drop the frame onto the ECU. Solder on the reset wire. And then solder on the boot wire. Both tools use different color wires for the reset and the boot. So once it's on, you can just identify the ECU. Here you just identify the computer. There it's identified the computer and all the processes and the 3 different sections in the ECU. So you can just save it under BMW 320 diesel, or save it under the car's vehicle number, the VIN number. So in the future, if you ever need to go back to it, it's easier to find the files. And there it starts reading. Okay, once the file's been read, you can just upload it to the server, and then we will do the modified file for you and send it back. And then the writing process is exactly the same as the reading. You just select the file and then you write it.
So we'll show you guys that now in the case section that we're going to do now quickly. We'll just show you how the file server works and how you can send the files to us. So, the last part of the tuning process that I quickly want to show you is how to use your case tuning tool. Now, as I've mentioned before, your case is for your OBD tuning. So we quickly want to show you how to do a BMW with the case tuning tool and just show you how easy it is. Okay, so basically I just want to run you through how the software looks of the case tuning tool. You'll see you have your info, which just shows you your tool. It gives you your customer code, stuff like that. You can download your logs. That's the logs that we talked about earlier in the video that you can send to Alien Tech if something goes wrong. You have under options you can change your language, and then you'll also see here's your cars, your bikes, your trucks, and your boats. So these are the different protocols that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Now this is obviously a car, so you just go on into your cars, and then here you'll see you have your manufacturers, so you can choose your different type of manufacturers, you can choose your different model, and you can choose the correct vehicle. Now, as I've mentioned, for your case, you can see there's the case software, and right next to it is the KTAC software. So they basically use the same program. It just depends on which car you do. So it works very similar to the CMD one. This one's just a little bit different. Okay, so after you've selected your vehicle, you can just press OK, and then you can either select ID, reading, writing, or recovery. Now your ID is just a process that identifies the vehicle software. Now on some vehicles you just ID it and you can send the ID to us and we'll send you the modified file back based on the ID. On some vehicles you require your reading, and most vehicles obviously requires you to read the car via the OBD port. Then you also have your writing and your recovery. Now your recovery is when something goes wrong on the car, and you can use the recovery function to recover the vehicle's ECU. Now this is a very important part that the fake tools are not good with. So that's obviously why we say it's very important to buy the original tools. So for now I'm just going to select ID. Now you'll see the vehicle, it gives us a warning and says we must connect the vehicle to a stabilized charger in order to ensure that you don't damage the vehicle's ECU while reading. Now you'll see on the case software it has a battery level reader, so it says it's currently on 12 volts. Now out of experience we know that for this particular car we don't have to connect the vehicle to a charger, but it's obviously always best to just do it. Then you can press OK, and then it starts your communication. It will read the vehicle. See, and that's actually what it says to you, what protocol. If you select the wrong protocol, it says which protocol you require in order to read the vehicle. That's why your ID is very important. So, and then you also have K-line and CAN. We'll just use CAN. K-line is for your older vehicles. Now you'll see it will run you through and it will say switch off the dashboard to continue. This is just a safety procedure that's built into the Alientech software. You can skip it if you want to, but we obviously don't recommend it. But we will just, you see, they tell you to switch off the vehicle before you connect it to the charger. So you can just skip all of that if you want to. You don't have to switch on and off, but it's obviously better to just do it. Now, after the vehicle has read out of, after you've read the software out of the vehicle, you can just email us the file, and then within 15 minutes to an hour, we'll email you the modified file back. We'll bill you on PayPal, and you can settle your account then. Then you can test your car. Now, with the testing, you can either put the vehicle on the dyno and we'll make the changes according to the dyno results, or you can log your car and we'll make the changes according to that. It doesn't for us. Most of our files are already dyno tested, so that's at least one good thing. You know, you don't have to worry about failing turbos because the files are already tested on the dyno. So I just want to quickly come back here. It will see it's successfully ID'd the vehicle now, and now you know that you've selected the right vehicle. It gives you the option to save your ID, so you can just go ahead and save the ID of the vehicle. It's actually better to just save it with the software version number. You'll see there. So you can just save the ID, and you can also attach that when you're emailing us the software. Now you can proceed to reading. Now your reading and your writing is exactly the same. It's very similar to the ID process. It gives you the same communication, and now you'll see it says waiting. Switch off, then to continue. So now the reading process has started. You'll see in the top corner here you have your software version, your hardware version. It gives you all the information about the vehicle. You can attach the ID and the read, and you can email it to us, and then, as I've mentioned before, we'll just email you the file back. So the payment process is done on PayPal. Once we've sent you the car, you've tested the file and you're happy, you just make the payment, and then we take it from there. So due to our lack of time, I'm not going to complete the reading process now, but this reading process should take about 20 minutes, and then after the car has read, you just email us the file and then we'll email it back to you. So as you can see, this whole process, the reading and the writing, should take you about 20 minutes, and then you're done with the vehicle. So that's it from our side at Tune to Race. Feel free we'll stay online now, and then you can chat to us on the chat, you can speak to us on Skype, and then we'll be able to take it from there. So you'll see now it asks to proceed to read, and here it says reading ECU. So this ECU will take 4 minutes now to read, and then once it's done, I'll save it, and then you can send us this read.